Much political drama ensued in Tamil Nadu in the wee hours of morning when the ED arrested Tamil Nadu Electricity Minister, who also of course has additional charge of Prohibition and Excise, Senthil Balaji, under the Prevention of Money Laundering Act. The visuals that you see on your screen where he is crying out in pain show him struggling, and it is being reported that this was after 18 hours of questioning by the central agency. It is learned that while he was being taken into custody at 2 a.m., the minister complained of chest pain, and those visuals show him wincing and crying out of uneasiness, after which he was taken to the Multi-speciality hospital in Omandur estate. There is of course much confusion if the ED had even arrested him or just questioned him for more than 18 hours. Those visuals on your screen show Senthil Balaji, Electricity Minister, struggling in pain. The latest on the case is that his wife S. Megha has filed a habeas corpus plea before the High Court. The hospital has also released a medical bulletin in which it has said that Senthil Balaji, on your screens right now, went through an angiogram in the morning at around 10:40, and it's been suggested that he undergoes a bypass surgery. A day earlier, the ED carried out searches at locations linked to Senthil Balaji at Chennai, Karur and Erode as part of probe into the money laundering. The case is linked to a job for cash scam in the state's transport department, which occurred allegedly during Balaji's tenure as transport minister in the AIADMK regime from 2011 to 16. There were complaints against him in which it was alleged he had received huge amounts as bribes from various persons for appointing them as drivers and conductors in the transport corporation. The arrest comes after Supreme Court allowed the police as well as the Enforcement Directorate to probe into an alleged scam against Balaji. The ruling Dravida Munnetra Kazhagam condemned the arrest of Senthil Balaji, terming it unconstitutional. This is the first time that any investigating agency has entered Fort St. George, they said. Law Minister S. Raghupati also raised doubts if the minister was even served arrest notice or whether even his relatives or friends were served one. Senior minister in the DMK government, Sekhar Babu, said that there was evidence that Balaji was tortured by the Enforcement Directorate, but then the hospital later said that they haven't found evidence to this claim made by Sekhar Babu. Stalin and several other senior DMK leaders visited Senthil Balaji in hospital. Those are the visuals on your screen right now. Moka Stalin arriving at Omandur Government Hospital to visit Senthil Balaji. The one greeting him is Shekhar Babu, and even as Muka Stalin is making his way to visit Senthil Balaji, he went there in the morning. The hospital meanwhile released a medical bulletin saying that after the condition of Senthil Balaji, he had to undergo an angiogram, and after that it's been advised that Senthil Balaji should undergo a bypass surgery. Apart from Shekhar Babu, we also see Ma Subramanian, the health minister, escorting the chief minister of Tamil Nadu, Muka Stalin, to visit Senthil Balaji. There are of course two sides to the case. One is the legality of his arrest, or rather the lack of it, and the politics behind it, which many feel is now unfolding in public glare. If we can put up those visuals of Senthil Balaji yet again, I shall now talk to all the guests who are joining me on the debate. That's Senthil Balaji, Minister of Electricity. Let's remember that he's been taken into custody, or rather the DMK says no custody, but whatever it is, that he's been taken into charge. As you see, he's been taken to the hospital after this. He complained of uneasiness, his hand on his chest. As you see, he's holding his head. Obviously, he may be, suffering from some kind of uneasiness or pain. And it's not as if Senthil Balaji is that old, he's around in his late 40s. But DMK alleges that the continuous kind of, interrogation by the Enforcement Directorate, which went on for more than 18 hours, perhaps made the condition of Senthil Balaji worse than it was already there. He is being taken into the hospital now. This is 2 a.m. in the morning. This morning, that is Wednesday morning, when you can see Senthil Balaji, and now he is under treatment. He was admitted to the ICU, after which he went through an angiogram, and now a bypass surgery has been advised. Satish, the whole thing is that now the legality of it, the DMK S. Raghupati, who is the law minister, is also saying, where is the arrest? Where his wife, or S. Megha, who's now filed of course an habeas corpus, in the High Court, they said that does his wife know about it, his friends know about it? He was not able, he was just interrogated and then he was taken. How do you look at it? Do you think we will talk about the torture later, because I also, torture or alleged torture, I will talk about that also later. But first up, do you think that the ED would have served him, a notice?
First of all, we should accept one thing, that there is a proverb in Tamil that the one who ate salt must drink water, definitely. So that's what has happened. That's what I feel personally from my angle. The Honorable Minister has already expected that this will happen to him, because when the search was going for 17 hours since yesterday, he gave a press meet. Yesterday he gave a press meet in the morning when he was in the same dress, when he was coming out for a walk, and when he was entering his house, he gave a report saying that I am ready to face any consequences. So that was a statement given by him. So what I personally feel from one angle, such as a different angle, if you see from the legal angle what you asked, the arrest made by him is under the PMLA Act, that is Provision of Money Laundering Act. The provisions of Money Laundering Act is totally different that of the CRPC. That was very well established in the leading case. I remember it was happened in 2022. I remember a 3-member bench of the Supreme Court has categorically stated that the act of PMLA is totally exclusive of the CRPC proceedings.
All right.
So, as per the PMLA Act, the officers, they have absolute power to arrest. So only one basic thing to be done from the officers is that they have to inform for what purpose he is getting arrested.
Right.
And another thing, you are asking about the habeas corpus. See, even in under the CRPC, there should be a minimum of 24 hours time will be given to the police officers to inform the magistrate or to their relatives. So now filing an habeas corpus will not at all sustain.
I want to ask you that, what happens is sequence of events is Home Minister Amit Shah goes there, there is a power cut. You know, like we say in Tamil, current cut, you know. So then it is said that, you know, it is all, how can it happen? And I also wonder, he's the Home Minister of this country. So it is being seen now as if the BJP is tightening its screws. Then of course, you know, he also spoke about, Amit Shah also spoke about 25 seats. Then you saw a fight ensuing between AIADMK and Annamalai. So do you see that this will become more of a political slugfest? But my whole question is, let the investigating agency first finish his investigation. After all, there is alleged money laundering in this case, Rangarajan.
No, well, we have to look at the case from 2 points of view. One, first, when was the case filed? The case is filed relating to cash for jobs issue that cropped up in 2014 when the ADMK was in power. And we should remember that Senthil Balaji was then a minister in the ADMK government of Jayalalitha. So all that time the ED did nothing to really bring the case to book and bring the guilty to book, as they say. The law should take its own course. Why did it not take its own course during the Jayalalitha regime when the ADMK was in power and when he was the ADMK? After he moves from the ADMK and joins the DMK, suddenly the enforcement directorate becomes active.
Okay.
Right? In 2021, when the DMK
government is formed, yes.
DMK fills him then as a candidate, then suddenly the enforcement directorate wakes up. Suddenly he's seen as a scamster. Suddenly he's seen as a violator, and suddenly the enforcement directorate suddenly acquires a conscience to perform its duty. So all this has happened when, as you said, Mr. Amit Shah came 2 days ago to Chennai, and there was a power cut for a short period. Okay, and you should remember that Senthil Balaji is in charge of electricity. So he is now the Minister for Prohibition and Excise, which is a different issue. He is also Minister for Electricity.
But then let me also,
you
know,
Rangarajan,
you brought up he's the Minister for Prohibition and Excise. You know, the twin hooch tragedies, 22 people died in this. Senthil Balaji was at the center of it all. There was just a bit of hullabaloo. The opposition parties, of course, said, oh, sack him, everything, but nothing happened. I know that you're saying maybe the timing of it, because it happened during Jayalalitha's time. Why is the ED waking up now? I'm going to go to Satish and ask that. But I'm asking you now, there is, when I say politics, does it also can be tied back to the DMK files, which was released by Mr. K. Annamalai, and we can see that Annamalai's marriage, BJP's marriage with the AIDMK could be over. You see the slugfest. So do you think the BJP is also trying to prove itself that we are quiet, let the central agency take its course, but you can read it between lines that there is politics happening?
Where is the law taking its own course? That's what I'm saying. Law is taking its own course. Why does it take 9 years? 2014 is the case. In 2023, you want to arrest the minister in connection with something that happened in 2014, and on which the ED was sleeping all this time. And now, you should remember, in this case, the complainant has withdrawn his petition, and which has been submitted to the court, that the complainant himself has withdrawn his petition, and they are not pressing for charges. And this minister has filed on his behalf filed a petition in the court saying that the ED case should be quashed because the complainant himself has withdrawn his petition, and there's no case.
Why was the ED investigating him continuously? They went to Karur, Chennai, his brother's house, everywhere.
Even after that, the ED is continuing the case.
Yeah.
Even the complainant has withdrawn.
So, do you think there is political vendetta?
Of course there is. There is no doubt
All
about
right.
it.
Let me, Rangarajan.
I'll tell you one more thing. If the BJP government and its central agencies are at all serious about corruption, why they didn't take action against this minister when he was in the ADMK? One. And second, against Jayalalitha herself. The appeal in the Supreme Court was over, the court hearing is over, the judgment was not delivered in the disproportionate assets case against Jayalalitha and 3 others.